Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Oh, 6:30.
Wow.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody, to the April 11th version of the Town of Manlius Planning Board. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting on March 28th. Are there any requests for changes? No requests for changes? Did you make a motion, Ann? Motion made by Ann to approve the minutes as is.
Yes.
Second by Arnie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved.
Wasn't there.
Yeah, I wasn't either. So.
You are abstaining, the two of you are
Yes.
abstaining.
Yeah.
Okay. Madam Secretary? The next item on the agenda is an application by Ryan Smith. This is scheduled today for public hearing on a two-lot subdivision at 5546 to 5590 North Burdick Street, tax map number 086-2-8. Before we do anything on that, Madam Attorney,
Yes.
we would want to go through seeker.
Okay, so here are the questions that we need to answer for seeker determination. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use
No.
of
No.
land?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
No.
Can improve it.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
No.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
All of these being answered, no or small impact. The chair may entertain a negative declaration for seeker.
I would have a negative declaration. Second.
Motion by Arnie, second by Richard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Negative declaration on seeker. Madam Secretary, did we publish notice of the public hearing?
We did.
Does people want to hear that read?
I'll waive a reading of the public notice.
Second by Ann, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think we're all set to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make
Judy?
second.
Second by Richard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is hereby opened. Madam Secretary, do we have anybody online?
I do not.
And we have no one here. So ordinarily, Mr. Smith, I would make you explain for the record what it is you're doing, but you've already done it before our board. And since there's no observers, either present or online, we don't want to have you waste your breath.
Okay.
I'll make
I'll
motion
make-
close the public hearing.
Second. I couldn't do that quick enough.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, we're at a position. You have provided us the additional maps. You've updated everything. I'm seeing that. We're delighted as all, we're tickled pink that you pulled that out of the blue line and then out of the canal property. That's fantastic. And what you did to the one home really is an improvement for the community. So we're trusting your new home you're going to construct to the west of it will similarly make the neighborhood look better.
That's the plan. Yes, thank you.
I think we are in a position, folks, to entertain a motion relative to approval or disapproval.
I'd like to make,
Yes, ma'am.
Just ask a question. So this is the site plan, but the actual subdivision map is previously submitted, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
do we have, we've gotten that?
From the color. I do plan
We've seen
to,
that.
I do plan to, once the house is removed, I plan to update the survey, so I would probably provide that to at that point, probably the building department. Coordinate with them on that. Like, last time there was a question, how quickly the house would be removed, and then the answer, just to repeat the answer, would be as soon as we get the demolition permit to remove the old house, we plan to proceed pretty quickly. National Grid has to do a gas shut off, and that's the last piece that we need to be able to get a permit from.
Okay, unfortunately, that's a vague answer.
Okay.
So the question is, when are you going to apply for that permit?
National Grid said the gas can be terminated in approximately 3 weeks, so I'd probably apply for the permit in mid-May.
So if we were to say that an application has to be made for the permit to demolish within 90 days,
That would be plenty of time.
that would be.
Got this. I'm showing this to Doug and Lisa. Is this the subdivision plan?
Yes,
That is, okay.
Yep.
It does not have the building envelopes on it. And we have this that says site plan. That does have the building envelopes on it, but it also has the proposed house, which I do not want to see on a subdivision plan.
Okay, is that the proposed house is on the subdivision plan in front of you?
No, it's on the site, it's on the site plan.
Okay, so keep the subdivision plan as is, right?
No,
No,
on the and this is just
Yeah.
me speaking.
okay,
I would like to see the building envelope on the subdivision plan.
okay,
I see that you have on the site plan,
yeah.
an architect put where this, I think it's called
pretty simple. Needs to be finalized
EX
anyway.
septic. I'm not sure what that means, but that's
Existing, yes.
existing septic. Now, but is that the existing drain field?
It is. I have a crude drawing from 1988 provided for me from the county that I'm willing to share if it's helpful at all, but this is signed by the county official with the town at the time. I think his name is Bruce Douglas. It was approved on 6/24/88. It has some dimensions on it. This is what Jeff Till's department out of the county provided to me for that house. Yeah.
My concern is simply is that this, we'll look at this, is that you're asking us to subdivide it to put a lot line in.
Sure.
I want to make sure the leach field of the newer house does not encroach onto the other lot.
Right.
And you have something that shows us that it doesn't?
I have this from the county and I have.
And what is that from the count?
It's a sketch plan that they approved.
Is that the health department?
Yes, from, yes, the health department, yep. The original septic design approval sketch from 1988. when they put it in.
It still doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
I want to make sure that where we're putting, and again, I apologize because I'm just one person here, but I just want to make sure that where we're putting this lot line doesn't, the septic field doesn't encroach on lot A, is it? I can't remember. Lot A, lot B, whatever it is, the lot to the left.
Yes, your concern was also the same concern as the county's. So when we designed the new septic and designed the subdivision, that was taken into account. And when the engineer who designed the septic for lot A applied to the county, he had to provide information and they had to look at what they had on file for the other house. So they, even though I don't have anything in writing, they certainly did check the same things that you're asking about. So what I tried to do, because of the time frame from the last meeting was pretty short, and I was not able to get Mr. McCully to add it, I did have a site plan done from the architect showing what you asked for. I'm willing to ask the surveyor to do the same thing. If that's a condition, I'm just speaking in response to your concerns. Although I will say, I don't think the surveyor can document the septic field any easier or more efficiently than the architect, because there's no way to really see it physically because it's under the ground.
And how do I make sure that I'm not giving a subdivision where the leach field goes into lot A?
I would say based on the county records that they have for the original septic system put in 1988.
But I got nothing that looks, I mean, what am I looking at?
So the county has to sign off on the subdivision map. That's the beauty about the county. And it's going to be according to the county plans. So I think that we have, the fact that we have, they're good questions, but we generally understand that it's going to go in the right place. And Jeff Chill he will not sign the map.
So the county will tell us that this lot line right here, the septic from the existing house does not go into, or the leach field doesn't go into lot A.
Yeah, they won't,
Totally within lot B.
they won't sign the map. They
Okay,
won't sign the subdivision, because they have those on file.
No subdivision maps get filed with the county unless or until they go through the 3-mile division, the public health department relative to the septic usage or sewer usage, and the county taxation finance department. All three of those organizations have to sign off on it before anything gets recorded with the county clerk.
that's why I'm not as smart as you.
Oh, here's what we received from the county health department. Maybe you can explain this better, Ryan, but.
Yeah.
But it looks like that leach field is on what would be lot 1.
Lot A.
B? Lot B.
See?
One on the left or right?
I got a lot B and a lot A.
But that leach field could be inside your building envelope area,
Okay, I just want to make sure it's not
right?
in lot A.
Correct. So what Doug has is the approved plan for the new septic system that we're proposing that is not been installed yet.
Well, I don't want to know anything about the proposed
Proposed one, right.
house. I don't want the proposed house on the subdivision plan. I don't care about that.
Sure,
That's between you and,
building department.
yeah,
Right, got it. Got it,
I'm concerned about the existing house and where the leach field is
sure,
as opposed,
sure.
okay.
There was a process, there's not a paper trail that I have with me today, but there was a process with dealing with the county. They very well knew that I was applying for a subdivision. They very well knew that there was currently 2 houses on 1 tax map, and that the goal was to have 2 separate systems on 2 separate lots. And that they would meet their setback minimums. Their setback minimums are 15 feet from the side.
And that's the reason you want a subdivision.
Yeah, there's multiple reasons, but yeah, I think actually what I'm doing is completing something that we started years ago. I had a map from 1988 showing I believe when they built the house, the ranch house in 1988, that a subdivision had started and somehow it just didn't finish the process. So yes, I'm trying to clean it up and make it so that each house has its own tax bill, each house has its own house number, which it already has, and separated.
Well, I think the one argument is going to be fine because we're not going to sign the final map until we see that.
The county,
The county signature,
okay.
we can do it that way.
Well, we can, but also regarding the building envelope, you wanted to see,
So if we can approve with the condition that these building envelopes are shown on the site plan, have Mr. McCauley transfer them to the subdivision map.
Yeah, I thought you might ask for that, and I was going to say that I'd be willing to do that. And I'd like to, with your permission, I'd like to take it a step farther. I'd like to do that update with the surveyor after the house is removed, because I would like to, at the end of the day, to have a new survey showing that that house is no longer says to be removed, but is actually gone, if that makes sense.
And the answer to that is going to feed into the other issue was that we wanted that done before the map is filed anyway.
Okay.
So that would be just as well.
Okay, so that was part of the time frame and the cost of having the surveyor do a special trip just to show that. So I knew that I was coming here today with the building envelope shown on a site plan and not on the survey, but I wanted to tell you that I would do it on the survey along with showing the house. And so I'm glad that that seems to make logical sense. And then if we'd like to take it a third step farther and show the, instead of saying EX septic, existing septic from 1988 with lot B and have a line, that I could do that as well.
Well, it could say approved septic, right?
Oh, yeah, approved septic for, the house has been there.
per whatever county
Yeah.
approval
Yeah,
could go on there.
yes.
Okay. I think that. would
No,
cover it.
that would, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy with those, contingencies, so to speak. I kind of expected them.
And do we want to put a date certain of when the house has to come down?
Well, it has to
Before-
come down within 1 year of the issuing of the permit. The permit's only good for 1 year. But I think we need to put in that he's gonna be applying for that permit within 90 days.
Well, the other thing is, you know, technically the subdivision map is supposed to be filed with all due haste upon, you know, approval, and usually 90 days. So you said you'd take down the house when?
This right here is the survey that shows that there's no asbestos in the house, so that's been done. It should be one of the items that takes a little while. I was surprised the length of time it was required for National Grid to disconnect the gas. The electric has already been disconnected from the house and been moved to the garage, so that's all been cleared. So Tom, with the building and codes department, said that the last thing he would need from me in order to issue a demolition permit would be the letter from National Grid saying the gas has been terminated. And I've been in touch with the planner, talked to him twice this week. They're actually gonna send me something that needs a check for them to do the disconnect. And I sent a follow-up email today saying, you know, trying to nudge them. And they said the lead time is approximately 3 weeks.
So do you want to pick a time frame?
Well, Mr. Lupia mentioned 90 days. That certainly gives us a buffer. I mean, I'd probably be comfortable with 60 days even. I'm just relying on that one agency, National Grid.
So what we're talking about is 90 days for the house to come down
Condition
prior
number
to
one.
us
Mhm.
recording the subdivision. That map doesn't get recorded till the house is down, correct?
Right.
Okay,
So first condition, 90 days to take down the house. The new map is going to overlay the building envelope. It's going to show no house where the one was taken down. And
and take the house off, the proposed house.
Right.
Shouldn't be on the subdivision.
show no house, okay, and the leach field on lot B is going to be identified as approved for the county health department.
For their approval.
Well, they're going to put that on the map. He's going to
Okay.
put those wording on the map.
That's something that.
And so to be clear, the lot B septic system that's been approved, that was approved in 1988.
That's fine.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
yes, but have the county.
Just
tell-
basically have the county put on there that,
Let this, make sure it's approved, and then you can
Right.
put the language on there.
understood,
Approved in 1988.
right, understood.
So they have to approve it again.
No,
Well, they actually do on a
yeah.
subdivision. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I would think.
And also, the other thing that needs to be on this plan that you may not remember we talked about was the zoning variances that were given need to
Oh, yeah.
appear in a block.
Okay, so I put the building envelope dimensions based on the zoning, the ZBA's approval of those setbacks.
So we need an actual block that says zoning board of appeals decision dated blah, blah, blah,
Got it.
the
It's
following
basically a
variances.
description of those three, I think it was three, maybe
Mhm.
four.
And if you need a copy of those variances, we can provide you with one.
I think Lisa gave me the notes, there actually is in the state on that one note, did you notice that? Yeah, there's, but
We'll fix
they
it.
approved a 0 lot line, but that's not what we did, we did not do a 0.
I don't think they did.
It's a typo, yeah, it's a typo in the minutes, I think.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. They
Yeah, we
did.
ended up not approving the
They
zero
did?
lot.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, that was not, yeah.
So I knew what the real number was, I think it's 13 feet or something like that. So in that block, it'll literally list those variances, okay?
Perfect.
And then with the last condition being that the chair will sign the map.
Okay.
After everybody else signs and these things are all done.
Okay,
But you may want to send the map to Doug and myself
okay,
before you start circulating it around
the survey map,
subdivision.
or excuse me, the subdivision map by the surveyor. That's
And he should label it final. subdivision map.
Okay, final.
And that site plan.
I wanted to come with something and I knew I wouldn't be able to get it from the surveyor, but I understand. Final subdivision map. Took my notes just right now, the items you mentioned, so we'll make sure that gets on there, including the variances. Won't show a proposed house anymore, but it'll show a building envelope.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't need to do a building envelope on the existing house.
I was gonna say yes, but no, that's
No.
fine. I mean, it's there.
It's
We're
there.
not gonna do anything with it, so yeah, that's fine.
Now we have a motion by Richard. I didn't hear it second.
With all those.
With all those conditions.
With all those conditions. Second by Ann. All in favor?
I,
Motion carries.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
This was a pretty public hearing, actually.
Good luck on what you're doing,
Thank you.
and thank you for doing it. It's gonna make the neighborhood look a lot better.
Thank you for being a town that, has a sound mind when it comes to these things, so.
And Madam Secretary, am I wrong? Didn't we receive a notification from one person who wrote in on behalf of,
Yes, I apologize.
we ought to put that in the record that they did write in with no objections whatsoever.
Bob, who was the director of development for the Health Center Retirement Community, has no objection to the subdivision.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, so the neighbors across the street with the nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize, sorry.
Good, yeah, we have a nice group of businesses around there, and we want to compliment that. Thank you. All
Thank you, sir.
right, have a good evening.
thank you.
Before we break, other business, I want to let everybody know Harrington Homes, Brandywine, we have informed them that we will not put them back on the calendar again until we actually see proof that the homeowners association is being incorporated and being dealt with properly by the state attorney general's office. It doesn't make any sense to be talking about it and not seeing it accomplished. The second thing is Pauley Drive, continuation of Pauley Drive. We've informed them that we will not permit them to put the matter back on before this board until we actually see true building envelopes on the proposed properties that they're intending to develop. They were informed of that by the town engineer previously, probably a good month and a half ago. And we still haven't seen anything, so we're not intending to do that.
By
Yes.
true building envelopes. What was translated to them? Like something that's not a teeny.
Well, they were talking about the 5 acres of
Undisturbed.
undisturbed, and they didn't show us what exactly they were talking about. We need to see it in black and white. Because I think there's an issue as to whether or not that is under 5 acres or whether it's over.
Are you gonna allow them to cut through there?
We haven't
We did-
gotten that far.
we haven't gotten that far, but we did get back a traffic impact study
Oh,
that indicated negative, virtually no impact by letting them go through. But we'll decide. One last thing, several people have asked me about the recent award received by the town board relative to smart climate, and they asked whether our board had been invited. Just so you know, our board had not been invited at all to that ceremony, unless someone got invited and I don't know it.
You were the only.
Well, and I can see based upon the change of law, we are persona non grata.
I'll make a motion to
I think it
adjourn.
was, I think it was at like advertised. I might have seen something about it, but I was not able to attend. Unless-
Oh, okay.
And not personally, it's something on, I think on social media.
Okay.
I'll second Mr. Rossetti's.
All in